This episode of Lore Drop is brought to you by Dustin Cross. Dustin, I'll make that trip up to Seattle soon.
Right, so we're still on our Full Metal Alchemist kick.
A little bit of that. It's directly inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh, but there's a little Full Metal Alchemist I can see too through poor Nina.
Womp womp.
Oh my
Womp
god,
Womp is crazy.
A Reinvent podcast. I'm Abby, the executive director of Reinvent Productions.
I'm Ben, the creative and artistic director.
And our third party member today is our friend.
Hi, I'm Callie. I'm the guest.
Yay! Cal is my new sidekick.
I am.
We have discovered. I met Callie by helping out with Josh Rapp's spring stage combat class because it's kind of hard to teach choreography just as one person. It's possible. I do it all the time, but it's nice when you have a friend. So I owe Josh several favors. So I came and helped him with his class, and I got to meet Callie while doing that. And then she came and did the creative action training intensive for unarmed with us. And then we discovered that Callie and Abby are just the same person in different fonts, and it's great. And today on our episode, we're going to be talking about magic in Reinvent and like the system of magic that goes into everything. Because we've talked about it before that Reinvent is a storytelling universe that has magic and science coexisting together. And Ben has spent a lot of time figuring out exactly like equating the D&D magic system of like how does that cross over into Reinvent, just because we use D&D 5e a lot for our campaigns and stuff like that. But before we get to talking about that, we gotta decide the most important part of the episode, which is what animated trio we are, and Callie has one for us.
I had a really good idea, and it's my favorite trio in One Piece of all time, and that's Nami, Usopp, and Chopper.
Nice.
And I feel like they're the goofiest, and I feel like that's the kind of vibe that I bring to the table.
So
That's good.
You said you were...
I feel like I'm Nami because
I can see that.
I'm low-key not afraid to beat up on people.
Yeah.
And Abby would definitely be a Chopper because she's just so adorable. And she has that like taking care of like people instinct.
Yeah.
And then Ben definitely gives Usopp vibes.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Nice. Just give me a slingshot. We're good to go.
looking at these pictures, because I do not know One Piece. Looking at these pictures, this seems like the vibe. Ben really likes the weird characters. Like we're watching Haikyuu right now.
Ben would love One Piece. Though.
Oh yeah, I know I would. I just have to sit down and commit to it.
The whole show is the weird characters.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to find a sane
No,
one.
absolutely.
In there.
Every single character design I've seen, I'm like, this is beautiful and I love it.
Of all billion episodes, I've never seen a sane person.
No, exactly.
So,
I've watched the first like 5 episodes or so. So I've seen up until like Luffy helps Zoro break out of that one place. But yeah.
Sylvie really likes watching it.
Yeah.
I'll like turn
Our
it
dog
on.
has watched more One Piece than we have.
Yeah.
Well, she's more cultured than you are, I guess.
Okay. Well, Ben,
Yeah.
tell us about the magic system of Reinvent.
All right. So this one's going to be a little, there's a lot to get into. So to talk about how magic works in Reinvent, I want to talk about sort of the inspiration in developing these more like clearly defined story mechanics, because there's a little bit of an opinion amongst certain D&D circles that in D&D, the lore of how magic works and that magic system is very inconsistent, shall we say, from class to class. Like, some of them are very clearly defined, of like warlocks. You get your magic from your patron who gives you part of their magic power. That is how it works for warlocks, right? But then it's like bards. How do bards use magic? What do you mean? I thought they just did a little singing stuff. Yeah.
Power of friendship.
And so I wanted to sort of come up with and since we use a lot of those things and terminology in Reinvent, I wanted to make a more like, not a like copy paste, like one size fits all system, but a sort of like pattern in the system that can apply to all of these sources of these ways that people can be magic users in Reinvent. Because this also, I find, when it comes to storytelling, especially in a large world like Reinvent, it helps to have clearly defined rules so that you can have some freedom within those rule sets and expectations and everything. You can find the freedom within the limitations is what we like to call it. And so to go back to that's the why this was all developed. And so I'll use some. I've been working on a specific like dramaturgy primer for this, so I'm pulling some direct quotes from there. So to say what is magic, with that, fundamentally, magic serves the purpose of filling existence with wonder. Magic is natural, yet not bound by the mechanics of the material plane. That is the basic like definition of what magic is in the Reinvent universe. It is created by the founder of magic, so someone on the same category of being as our guests from our Founders Day episode.
What?
I don't know.
I remember recording that.
Yeah, it came out, so we must have recorded it. But every time I listen to it, I just hear static. I sort of black out until it's over.
That's crazy.
Probably get that checked out.
Yeah, I should. But some notable magic users that we've seen so far, this fly is really trying to be involved, are Celeste Knox and Zyra Zolarin from Talon Squad Trust and Turmoil, and Navita Vega from Season 1 of Children of Destiny Cataclysm. So to go on then, there are... Magic is broken down into several categories. And so we're going on like the step-by-step journey of explaining what it is and how it works here. So from the baseline, there exists a foundational layer of magic that encompasses the world forever and always. And this magic is called Essence, is the label that is given to this. Essence is further divided into 5 categories, which are associated with the kind of magic they can produce. And if you're someone who loves alignment charts, they line up with sections of an alignment chart.
Is Essence like midi-chlorians?
In a way, it's very the concept of essence is definitely derived from the Force in Star Wars. The line of like, oh, it surrounds us, it
binds us.
Yeah, it binds us together. It surrounds and penetrates us. I don't know the actual like line off the top of my head. It's really specifically phrased. But the idea that it is always there everywhere and that anyone can tap into it as long as they're looking to or trying to do so.
So you don't have to be born with it.
Correct. Yeah, we'll get into some of the other like ways that you can actually utilize it later on. But yeah, it is anyone has the capability to use magic. So from the categories of essence, there's the first one is true essence. This is the magic of everything. It is sort of like it is associated with beings of neutral nature. So it lines up with that neutral cross in the alignment chart. From there, we get arcane essence. This is the magic of wonder, and it is associated with beings of a lawful nature, right? Then from there, we get on to natural essence, the magic of nature. This is associated with chaos. We have divine essence, the magic of deities, and this is associated with beings of good nature. And then there's dark essence, the magic of the unnatural. This is associated with beings of evil nature. And I use the word associated here because I don't want to say like, oh, only beings of this kind of nature can use this. This is what mortals and magic scholars sort of draw them to, but there are always exceptions to the associated.
It's more typical for them to be in their respective collective magic bubbles.
Yeah, absolutely. From there, going into the fundamentals of it, and this is the part where it gets really mechanical just for how I wanted to like break it down for every one of these sort of magic casters. So the capabilities of magic fundamentally are nearly limitless, but mortal magic users must abide by a very specific 3-part system to actually utilize magic. This system requires the following components of mortal magic users. So the first thing that the mortal magic user needs is a source. That source of magic is the specific point of origin where a magic user can trace their magic back to. This ranges from anywhere from essence itself to another individual being. We have to have that source. From there, they also need a vessel. The vessel is the thing that the magic user's magic is stored within. This can be anything from the magic user themselves to a specific like symbol that they can write down on an object. Very Full Metal Alchemist. And then from there, they also need an access. And the access is a manner in which the magic user is able to draw the magical effects from their vessel. This can range anywhere from specific step-by-step processes to a free-range access of sorts, right? And so while we have like, okay, these are the 3 steps, and the other metaphor I like to use this is like water. Whereas like it's the water supply. So the source is like who owns the water. If magic is the water itself, the source is who owns it. The vessel is the plumbing that it comes through, and the access is the actual like turning or the faucet or whatever it is. And so those are the 3 things every magic user needs. But what each of those is very flexible. And so from there, we get the different kinds and forms of magic that there are. With this, there are 6 different forms that magic can take. The first one is cantrips, drawn from D&D. So these are expressions of magic which draw almost no cost and as such have an extremely limited effect on the material plane. The effects of cantrips cannot be altered in any way. This is like, boom, staple, this is what it does. There's no customizing a cantrip, really. Spells are expressions of magic which have a specific effect on the material plane, but these are easily able to be replicated and taught to other people, and our more experienced magic users can modify them to their taste and needs or whatever it is. From there we get curses, which are expressions of magic which are tied to the emotions of the magic user and hold a semi-permanent effect. A curse cannot be cast without a specific target in mind. The effect of a curse remains on a target until the curse is removed by a spell. So that's why we say like semi-permanent. It is something that is removable.
Does the spell have to be removed by the caster, or can it be removed
anyone
by
can
another
remove
user?
the curse. Yeah, any magic user can remove a curse. From there, we get rituals, which are expressions of magic that require a more complicated and extensive process, but these in turn make a lasting change to something in the material plane. So whereas spells bend the laws of the material plane to get their effects, rituals fully break them in order to cause unnatural phenomena in these ways. And whereas rituals can be a little bit more long-lasting, these can't be like the effects that these have can't be removed like a curse, but it takes longer to actually do a ritual than a curse or a spell. From there, we get into objects. So these are magic items. They have been enhanced with the ability to create an expression of magic. So magic objects are created by highly skilled magic users, and the object itself becomes the vessel and access for its magic. From there, we also get magic beings. These are any being is capable of holding an amount of magic within themselves, which varies from being able to use cantrips as simply as breathing to even having inherent access to much more complicated effects, like adopting an alternate physical form even. And so an example of this is like mechanically in D&D, elves with their Fey ancestry are like immune to sleep and charm magic, or charming magic, but also some elves have cantrips that they can just use inherently, right? That is a kind of like magic being that there can be, right? It's a very small level for them, but like a dragon is a being with way more magic at their disposal. The other thing when it comes to magic is that using magic comes with a cost, and this cost is usually for mortals physical energy being drawn from the magic user. So much like using muscles for physical activity, the utilization of magic requires that practice and that conditioning to effectively handle using more powerful and complex magic. But yeah, that is the basic rundown and like rules that apply to all of the magic stuff, and from there it goes into more like specific things based off of the category of magic user.
I think the magic system is really interesting because it really does remind me of Full Metal Alchemist, of like you have to trade something of equal value and, you know, with all that stuff, but you managed to put that in a D&D world.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting because I didn't realize how much crossover Full Metal had with, you know, like a tabletop RPG. And since you started talking, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I'm like, wait, that's kind of the same. The rituals are kind of the same.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the different classes, because we've talked about like all these different ones, and I would love to like give an example in Reinvent of like characters that we have. So like let's go through these classes, and then we can like be like, oh, this is how their magic works.
So I'll roll through all of the like categories I've broken down. These mostly come from D&D classes, and some additional homebrew classes that I use through Mage Hand Press, the ones that they've posted. But all of them together in alphabetical order, we have artificers, bards, clerics, druids, investigators, martyrs, paladins, rangers, sorcerers, warlocks, war mages, wizards, and witches. And so to go in that order of them, so for all of these, I have flavor text for some of these written, but a lot of them I have like the baseline of like, this is the source vessel and access for each of these guys. So for artificers, artificers are magic users who use magic in the form of objects rather than spells. Artificers are known for blending as the blending point between magic and technology, often blurring the line between the two. So for artificers, the source of their magic is the arcane essence. That is what they draw into, right? The vessel is themselves. They use themselves to actually draw on that source. And the access is magical objects. And so through that, the sort of flavor behind that is that they can reach out directly into that divine essence, pull the magic from that into themselves and put that into the magical objects. And then they have to use the actual object to cast the spell itself that they're trying to do.
So their power is stored in something, you know, the vessel.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Heard.
Yeah. So it's like they can't just like shunt out a fireball from their body. They have to put the fireball spell into something else first and then use it through that object.
That's actually so smart. I think that fixes a lot of mechanics, actually.
Yeah.
Well, so let's who do we got? Who do we got in canon that we've got?
So I don't think we've actually talked about any of these three. We might have talked about one of them. But some of the most high profile artificers that I know of off the top of my head for reInvent are Laciel Melran, the self-dubbed greatest thief of all time.
Self-dubbed is something.
Yep. He has a habit of, so he is an artificer. He uses all these magic tools to pull off his heists and everything. The thing is that he wants everyone to know it was him who stole something. And so anytime he does a heist or steals something, he leaves a note behind that says, "Oh, you've been robbed. You've had the pleasure to be robbed by the great Laciel Melran. I hope to rob you again one day."
Unfortunately, that sounds like so dumb, but it's also something that I would 100% do.
Absolutely.
Because I love getting credit for the things that I do, and I cannot keep anything a secret.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, by the way, here's that thing that I did.
Absolutely.
It was me, by the way.
I love him so much.
But I mean, if he can pull it off and not get caught while he's there, then, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, are you psych? Like, psych people?
We love psych.
You know, Despero?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I feel like that's the kind of vibe that he has going on.
Yes.
Very
close to that.
Yeah, he's a very fun guy. The other two that are on my top three list here, one is Nevermore. So Nevermore is a Kenku, so a little like Raven person. He works for Gemstone Industries as a court spot technician, but he also is a little like inventor and tinkerer on the side. So he is a very strange little bird man, but one of his signature weapons that he creates is this giant like shoulder cannon that just shoots a lightning bolt.
Oh yeah, we have a drawing of that somewhere.
Yeah,
I have to find
I
it.
did it for Inktober a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
I have to see a little bird shooting a lightning cannon.
It's so good. He has like a tattered lab coat on and everything, and like these
that's
goggles.
adorable.
Yeah, he's great.
Also,
I love
Nevermore for the name is right on point.
Yeah, absolutely. And the third one is the closest thing that reInvent has to an Iron Man type of character is Cultus Khaleesi, aka the Sentinel. So she is a tiefling and she is an artificer. She has the company Everlife Incorporated. And her whole thing is that she has built this magic suit of armor that she uses to do superheroics and everything. And so she uses this to like fly and use like energy projectiles. She has sort of like, she's very adamant that they are not lightsabers. They are just swords that are made of pure concentrated plasma.
For copyright reasons.
Yes, of course. Legally distinct lightsabers.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are some of our like top three artificers there.
Well, I guess if you can't be a spellcaster, be a really good mechanic.
Yeah. Some of the next ones is the bards.
Some great bards.
Yeah, this one and this one's a lot of fun to just like come up with these. So bards are magic users who use magic to channel the true essence itself in order to affect the world around them. They're known for creating potent magical effects to inspire their allies and demotivate their foes. So the source for bards is true essence. Again, the vessel is themselves. That is what they use to tap into it. And the access for bards is music or whatever art form that they are practicing, right? But that art form, for most of them being music, is how they actually are able to use these magical effects and everything. As an example of one of our top characters, and this one was featured in Ordinary Heroes, at least the Universe 1 version of them, is the Bard. After losing access or knowledge of what his actual name was after reading the Book of Secrets, the Bard sort of unlocked his full magical potential as a Bard. And so like the Bard is able to use, if he's like using a guitar, he can play different chords or different songs to use different magical effects through that way instead of saying like an incantation or whatever else it is. One of the other things that the Bard likes to do is use different instruments all together to do different magical effects. And so in Ordinary Heroes, the Bard utilized a trumpet. And in other times, the Bard will utilize like a flute or a guitar or even just like the spoons.
One-man band.
Yeah. I just imagine him like walking around and you just hear like the clinking of whatever like various instruments.
Or like in those comedies when they have like an accordion, they have like a tuba on their back, and they have like a guitar, and it's like,
it's
how
like
are
that
you
old,
doing that?
It's like that old Pixar short that I think was before Toy Story. It was.
I know exactly
it played right
what
before
you're
Toy
talking
Story.
about.
Yeah, and it's just like the little guy just like.
Yes.
Some other bards that we have are Faith Genris.
I love her.
This is a character originated by Abby. Faith Genris is a TikTok influencer who does Taylor Swift cover songs.
Because she's a thief background. I was like, she's a cover artist.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yep. And so
Jesus Christ.
through that is how she's able to use her music and spells.
Okay.
Yeah, so she has different spells associated with different Taylor Swift songs.
I love her.
I,
She's insufferable. I love her so much.
I love that as much as I hate
Yeah.
it.
Her and Laciel Melran are coworkers. They work together all the time.
She doesn't like working with him.
Nope, and he doesn't like working with her, but they're like, man, we're good at working together, so I guess we gotta. And the third one is sort of like Pied Piper type character. They're called the Whisperer. And so what they
Like an Inuyasha.
I don't know the reference. I know of Inuyasha. I've never watched it.
It's. I literally think it's called the Whisperer.
Crazy.
Like with dead souls.
Ooh,
That's
that's
crazy.
gnarly.
Oh, you guys gotta watch that one.
What the Whisperer does, and this is one of the creepier things with being a bard. The Whisperer, like their instrument is whistling. That is the music that they channel it through. And so the thing that they will do is that they will use it to. This is a figure that started in, I think this is a Rondor folklore actually.
Yes, yeah.
That this is sort of like a folk tale of like, oh, if you hear a whistling outside of your house, do not open the door, or the Whisperer will take you off into wherever it is that you end up going. And so that is a sort of like the urban legend behind that's one of the other like darker implications of bard magic. From there, next we get clerics. This is another like pretty well defined one when it comes to D&D for the most part, but clerics are magic users who channel the magic of deities themselves through their sheer devotion. So clerics are known not just for their potent healing magic, but magic that can just as easily take life away as well. So for clerics, the source of their magic is deities. So this is where we draw the line with there's the split between non-mortals and mortals is that non-mortals don't really have to like rely on anything else for their things. For them, for non-mortals, the source vessel and access is all themselves with their magic. They don't have to rely on anything else. They are just purely a magical being and they don't have any strings attached to it. As deities, they tap directly into the divine essence is what they pull their magic from a lot of the time, or what gives them that deity status. Clerics are able to draw it straight from the deities themselves that they believe in. And so the vessel for the magic for clerics is also, once again, themselves. But the access to using that magic is devotion. So that's sort of like following that belief or the systems and tenets of that deity that they believe in and that their devotion goes to. And so this is one where it's like a cleric can sort of like choose to start following the deity, and through that over time their magical power grows as their devotion grows into a more like magically powered one. Or on the other hand, a deity can just look at someone and be like, cool, boom, you're my cleric now.
So if somebody like wanted to become a cleric, their magic would come in slowly instead of like just starting to worship this or this deity and then all of it come flooding in at once.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that detail.
Yeah. So
Like the stronger it is, the more potent the magic.
yeah, absolutely.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, that is a fun one with them. And so yeah, some examples of clerics that we have. Again, the biggest one that we have right now is Navita Vega from Cataclysm. She's a cleric of the life and light goddess Vitas. And so Navita always is out there. One of the tenets is to do no harm to living beings. And so most of her magic is revolved around healing or other like support-based effects that she can do with her magic. But she has a few offense-oriented things that she pulls out every now and then. Some other ones that we have, and we haven't super explored them, but there's also Dr. Truvik Elzak. She is the doctor on the Lady Legacy under Captain Jacob Crystal. She is a half-orc, and one of the big things is that she uses her magic to like enhance her skills as a surgeon. That is what her belief goes, what she uses her magic for. One of her like biggest magicals, she is also an amputee. So she has this sort of like hard light magical arm that she is able to use as well. So this arm sort of like doubles up as like a tool for whatever she's doing. But also on top of like being a cleric, she also pursued like medical doctorate knowledge as well. And so she is someone who very much believes in combining the two things, like the science and the magic together to do as much help as possible.
I never thought about that, but that is a really good pairing, actually.
Yeah.
And then we have a cleric being developed right now.
Oh, yeah.
Not give as many details, but JD is developing a cleric who is an ancestor of Titus from Talon Squad, Trust and Turmoil. His name is Lysander. He's a cleric of Cyrus, which is one of the three deities in Rondor. And it's been really cool to see him develop like the different magic and stuff, because he and I write a lot of stuff together, and being like, okay, well, like how does this work? The fact that like you have to say a prayer every time that you cast stuff like that. I love Lysander.
Yeah.
It's been really fun to see his character develop, and we'll talk more about him in a future episode.
Do I get to know off camera? Off mic?
Yeah, I'll talk to you about him later.
Okay, cool.
One of the other ones
Yes,
I was
sneak peek.
one of the other ones I was going to bring up is an example of an evil cleric, someone who is not like heroic in nature. But this is Malero Zillicent. They're
Bless
a
you.
general in the thank you, a general in the Dravic army, and their god is one of the like dark deities of the planet Dravic. So this is also a space cleric too. But the thing is that Malero's magic is entirely devoted towards like sapping away life force from their targets and stuff. So very not about healing whatsoever, but it's about like stealing that life force away.
An evil cleric is such an interesting concept.
Yeah. The
That's
next
kind of horrifying,
yeah,
actually.
it's real scary. The next one is one of the, and this is straight up with the system of magic. Some of these classes have a higher like power ceiling than other ones do. This is one of the ones with the highest power ceiling, which is druids. So druids, magic users who channel the power of nature itself in order to affect the world around them. Druids are known for powerful magic that can control the weather and the elements, and their sheer ferocity, just in general. So for druids, the source of their magic is nature itself. Not nature essence, but just nature, the environment, whatever it is that they're around, right? The vessel for their magic is themselves, and the access for the magic is also themselves. So as long as they are within nature, they're free to go with whatever magic they want, whether that's like, and some of them have a stronger like proclivity towards like being in a desert or an urban setting or some foresty area, right? That's nature takes all those different kinds of forms and everything.
I'm excited that you said desert, because when you think of druid, you really think of like, you know, like forest kind of vibes.
That's like the go-to thing.
Yeah, but like deserts are also a part of nature, and it's just like sandbenders and Avatar. Like I feel like that'd be so cool.
Absolutely. But yeah, so with druids, we have, quite frankly, some of our most powerful characters are druids. So one of them that we've, again, was featured strongly in Ordinary Heroes is Lady Earthquake. She is a druid who also has access to the sort of like primal Book of Earth magic. And so she is from recently the runner-up in our All-Star tournament episode.
Abby shakes her head in disappointment.
I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah, but like Lady Earthquake's magic is like relies specifically on manipulating like the earth itself, but also taps into that like magical area, or not magical, that weather-based effects as well. And so uses a lot of these things to try and be like, okay, cool, punish what she deems as people who are trying to do damage to nature and the earth itself. She takes that role upon herself, right? She calls herself nature incarnate.
Park Rangers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
One of the other ones is the Wanderer. The Wanderer is also called the Blue-Scaled Wanderer in Destiny City, sort of an urban legend there in some sorts. But the Wanderer is a lizard folk, and Lady Earthquake is a black dragonborn. The Wanderer is a lizard folk, and this is an example. This is one of my old characters that I played as when I was first learning D&D, so I have a soft spot for him. But he is a desert druid. He is someone who literally just wanders the desert and is able to just fully maintain himself in that way, right? And the thing is that he is not useless once he leaves the desert, but he's sort of someone, he's like, yeah, no, I'm only going to show up to the people who truly need me. He is that sort of like once in a generation type of appearance is his whole bag, because he is also immortal.
And you gotta almost freaking die in the desert for him to show up.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter at all.
That is true. I should say he is pseudo-immortal because he does die during the 8 Days War. That is in the Dynamite campaign thing. But maybe we'll do an episode on the Wanderer at some point. He's a fun little guy.
Gotta love a little guy.
Yeah.
And by little guy, he's not. He's a big guy.
He's quite large.
Well, little guy at heart.
Yeah.
Yes, little guy vibes.
Yeah. The third one is Rollin. This guy also lives just south of Destria City in the forest there. Rollin is a friend to the Bastions and part-time member as well, but he is a druid in that forest, and he is very much, his whole thing is being in tune with animals. He communicates through the animals that are around there as well. And so, yeah, those are some of the different things where there's like the Wanderer is this very like mysterious, mystical figure, and Lady Earthquake is like the wrath of nature, and then Rollin is the very like peaceful, like, let me feed my birds.
You guys want to sit and feed my birds.
Yeah.
John Mulaney quote for
Yep.
today.
So the next one, and this is the first one in our list that is not a D&D class. This is one of the inspired by a Mage Hand Press class. These are the Investigators.
Hey.
So investigators are magic users who channel the dark essence directly in order to empower symbols with the magic of rituals. Investigators are known for the cunning ways that they prepare their magic in advance and defending the world from the forces of darkness. So for investigators, the source of their magic is the dark essence. The vessel of magic is magical symbols, and the access for the magic is themselves. And so this is definitely the one that is like very directly drawn inspiration from Full Metal Alchemist. Like they use their magical ability to draw or use some sort of symbol to bring out the magic effect tied to that symbol.
We like Full Metal
I
Alchemist.
It's
knew
a
there
good
was
show.
a tie-in somewhere.
And so the main we really there's only like one character who is like an investigator that we've explored in depth and that is Beauregard Baptiste, later Beauregard Remington. He's the character that I am playing in Spotlight, in the 10-minute play On Guard. And Beauregard is someone who he very much, his whole thing is like he has a bunch of like trinkets and tools and stuff that just have the symbol of whatever it is ready to go. And so he's just got that walking, not a utility belt per se, but he's got tricks that can get himself out of any situation, because Beauregard's whole thing is that he is not like very skilled, he's very average is the thing, but he has the trial by fire mentality of he's failed enough times to have the experience to get out of a lot of situations. He's good at punching above his weight class.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so like some signature things that Beauregard has are like he has a sword that has magic symbols on it that let him like purify the souls of the dead. And he also has these gloves that if he doesn't have access to that sword, the gloves also let him use that purifying magic too. He has a little he has this glass medallion that he uses sometimes that if he like shatters a medallion, he can disappear and reappear someone else, like using the spell Misty Step. One of his other signature ones is that he just loves to he will draw a line and then just label that line with the symbol for the alarm spell, so that if someone crosses that line in any way, he just knows. It sets off that alarm in his head. He's the only one who can hear the alarm. And so what he does, especially when he's on the Lady Legacy, is that every time that he leaves his office, there is a running alarm line right in his doorway. So if anyone enters his office without him being there, he will know. And he will show up very quickly afterwards to be like, what are you doing in my office? But yeah, the next one are the Martyrs. This is another Mage Hand Press class. So martyrs are magic users who have been given a predetermined fate by some deity, and they gain magical abilities as a result. And martyrs are known for their mysterious and powerful magic that grows in strength as they approach their ultimate destiny. So for martyrs, the source of their magic is a deity. The vessel for their magic is their fate itself, right? That sort of predestined end position. Yeah. And the access for martyrs is pain in some way, whether that is physical, emotional, mental pain, some sort of that sort of turmoil and suffering is how they're able to get to use that magic ability.
Someone with depression would be unstoppable.
Yeah.
Insane, but true.
This one is
I mean,
this one is a little bit of like the darker twist of like it would be very easy for a martyr to think they were a cleric at first because it was given to them by a deity, the same way that clerics have sometimes, but that it is not from their devotion, right? It is that suffering. They don't have to believe in that god for them to become a martyr. Some god can be like, okay, cool, this person, looks like they're not going to be, I can sort of give them this little fate and then use that to, they'll have some of my magic to sort of amplify whatever effects it is that
okay, so they're
given
given their fate.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that's why. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. There is one specific martyr that we've explored, and this is someone who goes by just the name of the Liberator. And so the Liberator's whole thing is that they died once before, and then they were brought back to life specifically to be a martyr once again. And so their whole thing is like your fate is to free other souls that are trapped in their bodies around the world, or trapped from going on to the afterlife, right? And so the whole thing with the Liberator is that there was the being Andromalik was using this mansion to sort of make a sort of purgatory on Earth, that he was sort of diverting souls from going to the afterlife, and they would just be going to his mansion and feeding into his magic instead. And so the Liberator was sent to stop that from happening. To his fate is you will die in the process of freeing all these souls, and then you can actually be finally put to rest.
So they have to like work for their death.
He does, yeah.
Okay.
But some other ones are just like can be be passive. But that's the only martyr we've really explored.
That's really like you live to die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The next one is paladins. Paladins are a fun one. I was a paladin hater for a long time, but I've come around at this point.
Callie is aghast. Her collaborators have been gasted.
I am
a paladin hater is
I
crazy.
So paladins are magic users who use the power of the divine essence thanks to the oath that they have sworn to uphold. Paladins are known for blending potent magic with their martial prowess, becoming the ideal like hybrid warrior between martial and magical abilities. And so for paladins, the source of their magic is the divine essence. The vessel for their magic is themselves, and the access for their magic is their oath that they make. And so the thing with this is that it is not from a deity, even though it is the divine essence that they draw their magic from. Sometimes their oath can be to a deity, but that the oath that they make, that is their access point, can be to anything. It can be to themselves, to a different loved one, to whatever it is, right? It has to be that born of such pure driven like determination is what this oath has to come from. And this is sort of inspired by like there was a fun like Tumblr post that was going around for a while that was like, oh, D&D character idea is a married couple who one of them is a warlock and the other is their patron, and that and the other spouse is a paladin, but their oath is the wedding vows.
Why haven't we done that yet?
I thought you had known about that whole thing.
That's awesome. Let's do that.
It has inspired Abby. Abby is hyped.
Yeah. So
I've been inspired to make like a bunch of random characters recently.
The fun lore the fun lore thing with paladins in Reinvent is that on Earth, paladins basically went extinct during the last Crusades.
Is it because you didn't like them? You're a paladin.
That is how the lore started, and then I tied it to the whole like, oh, the Crusades were an actual like war from paladins amongst each other and all these orders. So
wiped them out because you were a paladin.
The knowledge of how to become a paladin just stopped. It wasn't accessible on Earth anymore.
But we do have one.
Yep, we have a couple. So the main one is Ellie Remington. The eldest daughter of the Remingtons, and
she became a paladin by accident.
Yep.
You know, I feel like I've heard Remington, the last name, before.
Yeah, they're kind of an important family.
I feel like I've heard it, just offhandedly.
Yeah.
It's crazy, Beauregard's child becomes a paladin.
So Ellie's whole thing is that like her mom was an Aasimar and had these Aasimar abilities, and her dad, Beauregard, is her dad, was a human, and so Ellie was born. Had the genetic like not lottery if you like it's a little like box that's got like the 2x2 thing, and it's how like the inheritable traits thing. I don't remember what it's called. It's a biology thing.
Something square.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but basically Ellie hit the like anti-jackpot of getting none of the Aasimar traits. The pundit square.
I was gonna say like a passive square, and I knew that wasn't right. And I just
Yeah, so Ellie hit the spot in the pundit square where she got none of her mom's Aasimar abilities. But she did inherit a pretty strong proclivity towards magic from her dad. And so the thing is, growing up, Ellie knew that she had like some sort of magic calling to her. So there's one day that she was being guided by the cat throughout this mysterious hidden room in the Rondor Castle. And she found in this room, there was this book that was calling out to her. This book was the Eyes of Sibylla. And as she was about to go and reach out towards it and take it off the shelf, the cat just swiped it away, knocked it right off the shelf before she could grab it. And then she was like, okay. And then she looked over, and there was another book that was also calling out to her. It's called The Oath of Cyrus. And so she opened this book and read the oath out loud, and being in this spot where she was like, in this particular point in her life, she was very like jaded with a lot of things, and she wanted to be more than just a royal princess and she wanted to do something and make great change in the world.
She's a teenager.
Yeah, that's also, she's a teenager when this happens.
Yeah.
And
That's all that needs to be said,
yeah,
really.
through reading the Oath of Cyrus in the book, like his classic paladin oath becomes a paladin. The first the second naturally occurring paladin since the Last Crusades. And that is to say, to go back to the first naturally occurring paladin, is a different character that we also talked about, was a little bit of a dark horse in the All-Stars tournament, but is Shane Albright. And so this is another one Shane is a character who is a monster hunter for a while, and this is a character who will be featured in one of our 2027 shows. I think that episode comes out
It's
after.
coming soon.
It's coming soon. Keep an eye out for that one. But Shane doesn't know it, but he is also a paladin. But that is born from a desire to like save people, and
So
he sort
where
of
does
made
he
that oath.
where does he think that power comes from?
He
just thinks he's really cool.
he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't know. No, exactly.
Is this guy also a teenager?
He is also a teenager. Yeah.
That checks
Absolutely,
out.
yeah.
That checks out.
Yeah,
No further questions.
absolutely. Because the thing is, Shane was also like a combat prodigy, so he just thinks he's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm just like really skilled and talented, and I exist to be a hero. So those are the two paladins that we've have in the pipeline or are exploring soon. One of the other ones is a space paladin called Jane of the Light, and she is the leader of the Light Brigade. This is a group on a different planet that is they are devoted towards protecting their planet from the forces of darkness that are sort of like in this like parallel dimension, not a different universe, but these sort of like dark mirrors of them from this other magical plane. But yeah, those are paladins. The next one, this is a personal one because the next one is Rangers.
Yeah, Rangers!
And Rangers, if anyone is a Ranger fan of D&D, you know that we don't get to eat very often. I am a big fan of Rangers, but D&D does not treat Rangers well whatsoever.
No.
And so I decided to come up with lore and rules that flesh out Rangers a lot more thoroughly.
Ranger lover and a paladin hater.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
Listen, I'm not going to defend myself.
He used to be a little hater of everything.
So Rangers are magic users who've become so intimately familiar with their surroundings that they can identify and use the nature essence directly as a result. So they are known for magic that draws on the forces of nature to enhance their own abilities of tracking, stealth, and combat. So the source for them is nature essence. The vessel is their environment in this case, and the access is their attunement to this environment. What that looks like a lot of the time is like if a ranger is used to like traveling through the forest, and through knowing that forest so well, they can sort of spot the places where it's like, oh, this is nature essence. This is not just a leaf, right? So they'll be able to just reach out, grab it directly, and be like, cool, let me use this to whatever magic effect I need right now. And so the thing with Rangers is that their magic grows stronger the longer that they are exploring and getting used to a different certain place. So like another one of the examples of Rangers is from Cataclysm is Severica. And so one of the things
John knew how to build a ranger.
Yeah.
So
one of the things with Severica is that she was like used to desert exploration and then ended up in Dustria City, and so isn't familiar with that place whatsoever. And so in season 1 doesn't really have access to her ranger magic. But the longer time she spends in Dustria City, the more her magic abilities are going to grow as a result of that. And so she's able to sort of use this and increase her power in that way. Another one that shows up later in Cataclysm is Tree of the Smallwood. She is a forest ranger, so she is someone who knows that forest so well that she's able to use it to like enhance her stealth to supernatural levels through this magic and everything. Another example of a different kind of ranger is Hunter Master, which is a space ranger.
But like Buzz Lightyear? Space Ranger?
Not
Oh,
gosh.
God.
Not quite like Buzz Lightyear, but Hunter Master is a space character. She's a ranger, and so her preferred terrain is like being in space, right? Being not on any planet in particular. And so that is some of the fun ways that some of those can manifest.
Can I talk about my ranger I'm building right now?
Yeah.
It's another Remington.
Another one.
Ariel Remington.
Oh, I think you've talked about this before.
Yeah. So she is a far off ancestor for Aurora. Originally, I wasn't going to have her be a magical person, which I don't know why. But I was like, I want her to be like, she's super flower child, like animal girly. She has so many animals. And I was like, no, it just makes sense for her to be a ranger. So she's a Fey Wanderer. ranger because her magic is from Sia, who's another one of the goddesses, or one of the gods in Rondor. But like, it was very interesting because I went into D&D Beyond to like build her character sheet just so I could see like, oh, okay, what kind of spells would she have? Learning how busted Pass Without a Trace spell is. I was like, one, why is this only a 2nd level spell? But it was fun to build her and be like, oh, okay, these are the spells that she would have. But I will say it was very difficult to not give her any combative spells because I'm like one punch things. But
see, like that's the hardest part, is the separation between person and character.
Yeah.
Is because you could really, really want to do something as Abby. But
the only one, and I ended up not giving her the spell, but the only spell that would make sense is for her to has something to do with archery, because her like main weapon is that she's a very good archer.
Is it Hunter's Mark?
Yeah, no.
Or no, that's built into the Ranger now.
It was something about elemental stuff with the bolt, with the arrows and stuff. But I was like, to be able to make flaming arrows, and I was like, no, because I think that Vax has that in Vox Machina, or Vex. I get them.
Vex, yeah.
Yeah, Vex. I think she has that spell. But anyway, but yeah, just building her. I was like, she's got animal friendship and Goodberry and speak with animals and all this stuff. But her being a Fey touched one, she also gets Charm Person, or not Fey touch, Fey Wanderer. That's what it is.
Yeah.
She gets Charm Person and Misty Step, and has like the trait that like whenever she sleeps, little flowers grow in her hair.
Oh, that's cute.
So Lysander pulls out the flowers for her. They love each other.
So the next type of magic user we have is the sorcerers, and this is the other one that is right up there with druid with how powerful they can be because of the flexibility.
Baby.
So druids are magic users with the ability to use magic freely thanks to some kind of external influence either on them or one of their ancestors. Sorcerers are known for their raw magical capacity and their ability to alter magic to their whims and needs. So the source of magic for sorcerers is residual magic from any sort of external factor. So whether it could be sort of like akin to radiation sickness of like, oh, they were around some sort of major, like huge spell or magical effect. That was crazy.
Shut up.
Whether it was like they had some magic left on them from being around this giant magic effect, or if like an ancestor made a deal with some sort of fae or devil of some kinds, or if their ancestor was a deity, right? Anything like that are ways that sorcerers can get their magic.
Becoming a sorcerer through radiation is crazy.
Yeah. So with sorcerers, again, the vessel and access is also themselves, much like druids. And so that is also what makes them able to customize their magic so freely. And so some of our big sorcerers are Miss Fortune, featured in Ordinary Heroes, but the Universe 17 version of her is much more sorcerer coded, where she is a spacefaring sorcerer, sort of like she would be like the space opera kind of character who's like traveling from planet to planet and experiencing all these things. But a lot of her magic is very like ice and psychic oriented. And the other one is Lazarus Bastille, who is the navigator on the Lady Legacy under both captains Aurora Remington and Jacob Crystal. And Lazarus his sorcerer thing is a little bit messed up because when he was a baby, he was born on the Lady Legacy, and as a baby, at that moment, someone traveled from a parallel universe and needed a way to blend in, and so decided to turn into a little parasite and latch on to baby Lazarus's brain. And so that person was a magic user. And so having that magic parasite attached to his brain growing up, he sort of like contracted magic as a result of that, for lack of a better word. And so he always grew up thinking, he's like, oh no, he was correct of like, oh, I'm a sorcerer, but didn't know where it came from until that parasite was removed from him. And then the other one is Rhiannon Harrow, a way back character in Rondor's history, the first queen of Rondor, but she is a direct descendant of Cyrus, the god of providence in Rondor, the same god who gives Lysander his powers as a cleric. But Rhiannon, as a descendant, is a sorcerer. So yeah, those are sorcerers. The next one is warlocks, is what we get into next. So, warlocks are magic users who have entered a pact with a magical entity in order to use a fraction of that patron's own magical power. Warlocks are known for magic that use such sheer power that it couldn't possibly be obtained through normal measures. So, the source for warlocks' magic is their patron, that being that they made a pact with. The vessel for the warlock's magic is the pact that they made. So, that deal, that promise, or whatever it is, right? And then the access for that magic is also the pact. So abiding by the pact is how they are able to continue using that magic. But also the patron is able to just be like, oh, they can sort of set the terms on and choose when you have broken the pact or not. And so some of the examples of warlocks that we've had, another one from Cataclysm is Reaper. He's a warlock who's the benefactor is his patron, and the benefactor lets him do a lot of soul-based magic, so he can drain souls from people or use his sight to see their souls. He can manipulate his own soul to inhabit and possess a suit of armor that gives him an enhanced strength and durability. Other ones include Arim, who is a character who shows up later in Cataclysm, but his patron is a ancient demon dragon god from his planet, the home planet that he is from, and he has this pair of gauntlets that houses part of that dragon's soul. And so that dragon sort of says like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get you back, we'll help each other get back to our planet one day, but when we do, I'm going to help you take over the planet, and then I will release you from these gauntlets that I have attached to you permanently. And Arim sort of goes crazy over time as a result of all this stuff. He's a fun character, I promise, but fun in a very tragic way. And the third one is someone who's known as The Help. He is a hero with the Order of Heroes in Universe 17, whose whole gimmick is that he is a butler, but he used to be a member of a mercenary company who died defending a village that they were hired to defend when that village was set on fire. All of the members of this company died in the fire, but the thing is that fire was a sort of tied to a magical entity known as the Great Blaze. So the Great Blaze, looking at all these mercenaries who died defending the people, none of the people of the village died in the fire. It was just the mercenaries who did. So the Great Blaze said, okay, mercenaries, I'm going to give you all one more chance. You will all become my warlocks. You will all use fire magic of some kind, and you will continue doing your thing and protecting people. And so the sort of deal there is, as long as you're protecting the common people of the world, you will continue to live and have access to this magic.
That's crazy. I did not realize that that's how the help worked.
Yep. You guys didn't spend a lot of time with him. He died off.
You don't know him like I know him.
He died off camera.
He died off camera.
He was not an NPC that they latched on. This is usually my tactic as a DM.
It was either the help or Richard.
No, yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is my tactic as a DM, is session 1 to throw so many NPCs their way and to be like, all right, choose whichever ones you're interested in, and they'll be the ones that you're around most of the time.
Or you could go a complete 180 with that. Be like, oh, look at all of these options. And then they get attached to one and they're dead.
I tried killing Richard so many times.
He would stop everything to save this stupid robot.
Yep. It was delightful. But yeah, that's the warlocks there. The next one is another Mage Hand Press class. These are War Mages. So War Mages are magic users who have dedicated themselves to mastering the fundamentals of magic so thoroughly that they sort of surpass its natural limitations, is the flavor text here. They're known for utilizing cantrips specifically with very precise efficiency and strategy. So the source of their magic is the arcane essence, and the vessel is cantrips itself. That is the only magic that they can use, but they use it so efficiently that it looks like it's not a cantrip at first. And with them, the access for this magic is straight up through practice and discipline. So it is through that repetition and doing it over and over again. This is sort of anyone can go into being a war mage through the practice and the training and everything. But yeah, some war mages that we've had, we haven't really explored any of these in depth, but I think the biggest one that there is Andre Garza. He is one of the captains in the Dustria City Police Department and one of the founding members of the Stand. And Andre Garza is also a hyper as well. But Garza, he uses his magic to basically enhance his detective abilities. He uses specifically the non-combat oriented cantrips are what he looks into. So a lot of guidance is one that's a big one for him, or True Strike or stuff like that.
True Strike is so underappreciated.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's one of the most powerful things in the entire world. And people are like, oh, it's just True Strike. And I'm like, what?
I know. you don't understand how important advantage is.
guys.
Yeah, but yeah, the next one that we have is wizards. Everyone, the little poster child.
Wizards.
So wizards are magic users who utilize the arcane essence to cast spells and utilize magical objects with a very high level of efficiency. They are known for an unmatched level of versatility in the spells that they are able to cast. So with wizards, the source of their magic is the arcane essence. The vessel for their magic is spells. They can use cantrips and rituals and curses and stuff, but spells are their main bag, and they're able to, like, okay, through spells, they're able to sort of like do all these crazy things. And then the access for them is themselves. So by just like learning the fundamentals of magic is how they're able to sort of like branch out in all these different directions. Some big wizards that we've got. One of the big villain wizards is Zalora Sitwellen, chairwoman of Project Alpha.
Oh, a lot of big feelings.
Yeah.
Get her. We talked about her a lot in our Project Alpha episode.
Yeah.
A lot of big feelings.
But
She killed my mom.
yeah.
Well,
Literally. Okay. Sorry. This character. we had played a 12-hour day of D&D. It was a long day.
Mm-hmm.
And then this person kills my mother character. Mother figure character. I took the day off of work the next day because I was so sad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're just like, yeah, sorry, I have a death in the family
No,
that
yeah.
I have to deal. And they're like, oh my God, what happened? And you're like, well,
I don't want to talk about it.
it's too painful. It's too fresh.
Nope,
Yeah.
I took
I just had a death in the family.
I took the day off without regret.
But Zalora is she would classify as like an evocation wizard. So she uses almost exclusively offense-oriented magic, but she likes to keep that a secret. She likes to put on the guise of just being a business person until it's time to throw down. And then she's like, cool, fireball. You're dead.
Power word kill.
Power word kill is something that she had in the back pocket. And
She killed her sister with it.
Yeah.
That mother
Big
figure.
family drama.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you caught.
It was
I'll
good
get
stuff.
you caught up. It was really sad.
Some other ones are Morgana, the director of Harbor, another one of Abby's old characters. But Morgana has access to that like ancient magic book. Whereas Lady Earthquake had the Book of Earth Magic, Morgana is a Triton and lives underwater. She has the Book of Fire Magic.
Listen, she has range.
Yeah.
Well,
She's a multidimensional character.
Well,
well,
Exactly.
okay. Well, and the thing that like I had with her, I was playing her in a different campaign first, and then we moved her over to the reinvent canon. But when I was playing her, she was like a teenage prodigy, basically. But she was translating a spell book, and so like I had decided what spell she would get from level 1 to level 20 already. So as she was like leveling up, she was translating the spells, and it was just like very destructive magic until she got later. Like she got power word kill before she got power word heal.
Yep. It's gnarly.
She had a lot of baggage, but she was a glass cannon, and we loved her so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, characters like that always make everything more interesting.
Yeah,
As well.
yeah.
No, absolutely.
It's like, do you really want someone who's...
Do you want someone well adjusted?
I was like, do you want someone who's sane? No, that does
No.
not make for good cinema.
no, it's like
Yeah. And the third wizard is probably one of the most prolific wizards, just from the fact of like the magic that she created. Is called the Keeper of Dragons.
yes.
And the big thing of the Keeper of Dragons is that through her magical studies on like centuries of working and studying, she figured out a spell that can fuse multiple people into one person. So yeah, through that is her like signature spell is combining other people into one.
Right, so we're still on
to, like-
we're still on our Full Metal Alchemist kick.
A little bit of that. It's directly inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh, but there's a little Full Metal Alchemist I can see too through poor Nina.
womp womp.
Oh my
Womp
god.
Womp is crazy.
Womp Womp is crazy
Wow.
in that situation.
That's my only defense mechanism, because if I think too hard about it, I will cry. So I'm gonna say womp womp.
Fair. But yeah, that's Keeper
Cold and
Dragon big thing.
unfeeling.
I'm thinking about the.
So our last category of magic user that we've got are witches. So witches in the Reinvent world, they are magic users who have had a curse placed upon them by another magic user. they in turn manipulate the magic from this curse to fit their own needs. So witches are known for unsettling magic that tends to scare away those unfamiliar with its nature. So the source of magic for witches is any form of essence, right? Whatever essence it is. The vessel for that magic is the curse that was placed on them. And the access for the magic is manipulating the curse that is placed on them. So witches are another one that is sort of in that line with martyrs and clerics and stuff, where it's like, okay, cool. They did not choose or seek out this magic. Someone put the curse on them and they figured out a way to manipulate that curse to, it's still like they suffer the effects of that curse, but they are able to sort of like draw different effects out of it to use to their own advantages and everything. And so the signature witch that we have and we've explored, sister of Zalora Sitwellin, is Dr. Sariel Sitwellin. She is the doctor on the Lady Legacy under Aurora Remington. And Sariel is a witch who has been alive since the French Revolution. She is from France. She spent centuries, like, she was cursed by her sister when they were kids. So Zalora put the curse on her, and then Zalora ran away from home once their mother died. And so after that, Sariel...
A lot of dead moms in this campaign.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Sariel then spent centuries figuring out how to manipulate that curse, learning how to master her magic through that curse, and also decided that she just got bored and just went collecting as many degrees
as
in the field of medicine as she could possibly find.
I just, see, if I was immortal... I know a lot of people hate school, but I would just go get like so many degrees and so many niche
I mean,
topics.
it's a good way to keep structure in your life for hundreds of years.
Well, that's also true.
But yeah, that is what Sariel does. She's like, all right, cool. Let me just go get degrees now, so I can learn as much as possible. She's just sort of living well of knowledge. Another witch that we featured in a reinvent show is Zyra Zorlarin from Talon Squad Trust and Turmoil.
I saw that one.
Yeah, Zyra is an alien, and so her magic is also derived from a curse from her home world. And so the thing that she uses her magic, and Sariel, to go back, her magic, she uses that to mix, again, much like Dr. Chuvik Gelzak, Sariel mixes her magic knowledge as a witch with her medical knowledge. She leans way more on the magic than the medical. Like, she'll be like, okay, cool, I know the magical way to fix whatever your problem is right now, and if that doesn't work, fine, I'll go back on the traditional medical stuff. But with Zyra, the way that she uses her magic is like tracking other people and like gauging strength levels of their magic, right? She's able to sort of like suss out that magic and be able to be like, oh, this is the magic that you've got going on. This is what sort of category you fall into. This is how your magic works. And so it's sort of being able to like just see and figure out what's going on with other magic users. But yeah, and those are the two main witches that we've got going on. And yeah, that's all the classes and categories. Woo.
Jeez, there's a lot of magic users, a lot of dead moms, a lot of...
I mean, ain't it always the way?
Well,
not really. Ain't it sometimes the way?
I have a question.
Yeah.
It's a really important question. If your magic system was a color, what color would it be?
Ooh. I don't know. I associate it in my head with gold. That's the color I associate magic with.
I was going to say yellow. Yeah, like I was like, feel yellow.
See, I was going with like, have y'all seen JJK?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was thinking, you know, like the curse
energy,
yeah, like for the like that dark kind of purple,
yeah.
like
oh yeah,
flag,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
like that's.
Nice.
I pictured it in my head as soon as you started talking.
That's
Those
cool.
are complementary colors.
Yeah.
Yellow and purple.
It could be like a little, like got a little gold bedazzle in there.
Yeah, little sparkles.
A little sparkle.
Well, you're like a big fantasy girly.
Well, that's also true.
If you were, when you make a character within Reinvent, because you will at some point.
Guys, this is me being officially invited into the Reinvent universe.
Which one would you want to lean into?
Ooh, see, I was never really much of a witch person, but since I started doing the Scottish play,
yes,
I've leaned into it really heavily, and I'm just like, okay, there's stuff in this universe that I can get behind. But I'm also a huge druid girly. I've been working on this character for a while, but I really want to have one of her cantrips going at all time, and that cantrip is called Primal Savagery.
Oh yeah.
And it just like elongates her like canines and like bottom teeth a little bit and her nails, and so
Nice.
she's like an offensive druid, like not
Nice.
defensive. She's not a healer,
Mm-hmm.
but when she's like, yeah, I'm a druid, they're like, oh, can you cast healing spells? And she's like, absolutely not, and
Yeah.
just goes absolutely feral.
Mhm.
I love that. That's great. I love
Yeah.
druids.
Yeah, I was an ankle biter as a kid, so
I still am.
Crazy.
Ben, can you confirm?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Magic fun.
Hmm.
Magic fun. Moral
Yeah.
of the story.
It's also like helpful to have this structure now as a tool for whenever
Mhm.
we're writing characters, of like having more structure, being like, okay, these are the rules. This is how we play with them.
Hmm.
Um,
And I mean, even like
Oh.
recently, I went because it's in Monica and Julia's play in Spotlight, the lesbian space cowboys discover the time lasso. There's an element of that where like they
I
think,
did the artwork for it.
yeah, there's a magic element at play in that one because Nellie is a ranger.
yeah, she's a ranger, but
Yeah.
because they're in space, she can't use her magic.
Yeah. So that was one that they were like sort of trying to think of like, okay, we don't know how the magic system works, like how loose or like is it soft or hard magic that we're dealing with, right? Or how defined are the rules and everything. So I went and sat down with them and like explained this whole system to them. And I was like, okay, tell me what this character needs to be able to do for your story. And they said, okay, these things. I was like, cool. It sounds like they could be one of these classes. Take your pick from there, roll with it. And so at least for them they found it very helpful to like have like, okay, cool. This is being able to know, oh, these are the boxes that we can fit into. And these are not like tiny boxes. These are like very large sandboxes, each one of them on their own that they can fit in and play around with. But being able to narrow down their options, was something that was very helpful.
I do have a question. Is there a hierarchy within the magic system, like a social hierarchy,
Ooh, a social
like
hierarchy.
paladins being idolized or witches being looked down upon?
I think it. So I'll use Earth as like the baseline for this one, but paladins are like a myth. People are like, oh no, paladins aren't a real
Okay.
thing. That's just like gone forever. I think witches and warlocks are definitely the like outcasts of them. Of like
Okay.
someone finds out you're one of those two, and they're like, ooh, okay, maybe I'll stay away from you. Clerics are probably one of the more like clerics and wizards are probably some of the more like highly
I mean,
respected
everyone
ones.
wants a doctor friend.
Right,
So-
exactly. I think, and this is absolutely just like bias from like the thing, but like I think people look at sorcerers and they just go, Nepo baby. Right. It's a joke from the D&D community, but I think in the world, at least on Earth, amongst magic using circles, that's probably the sentiment with a lot of them. And for the rest of them, it just like varies.
Well, I think we have a very nice structure going on.
Yeah.
Nice. Before we wrap up today's episode, Callie, is there anyone or anything you want to give a shout out to?
I guess come see Spotlight. There's so many talented people in it, me included.
Yeah.
But there are definitely some people that I really enjoy working on stage with, and I think they have amazing talent, and I think all of this will click really well in these fun little plays.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm doing stage combat this week at rehearsal for you guys. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Spotlight Volume 1 is a short play festival that has 8 brand new short plays that take place within the Reinvent universe. The show will be running September 10th through the 13th at the Hollingsworth Hall Cultural Center. On September 10th, we're going to have a pay what you can night with a $3 minimum. So please come out and see the show. We also are going to be selling the trading cards that are featured on the poster.
Yours truly designed some of them.
Yeah.
So
It was really cool. We've got for this set, it'll be the Spotlight Volume 1 set, and then within that set, it'll be the 8 cards for this show, and then 10 bonus ones that have to do with things that we've talked about on Lore Drop, things that we've had in previous shows, all that jazz. So we're going to start having those we're trying to have those at every show, that we'll have a set of trading cards that people can start collecting.
Yeah.
so get them while you can.
Yeah.
They're limited time.
It will be we're doing a limited order of these. We're going to see how it works out with all this stuff. But yeah, grab them while you can.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
It's a good way to show support. Also, if you're a nerd and like Pokemon cards, they fit in the same binder.
Yep, they
Yeah,
sure do.
they do, they
They sure do. Our next episode of Lore Drop is going to be our 2027 season announcement. We've got Libby Denny on the episode. It's going to be great. Libby officially lives in Lubbock.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. But yeah, we're going to be talking
Abby's
about...
vibrating with excitement.
I truly am. Callie saw me tackle hook her yesterday when I saw her for the first time.
It was crazy. I thought they were going to like body slam to the ground.
But yeah, we're going to be talking with her about our upcoming shows for 2027. So be on the lookout for that episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Lore Drop.
And remember,
Being fantastic starts with being a fan.
Nice, first try.
Reinvent Productions is proudly sponsored by 5 Points Corporation Lubbock and Savannah Rashida Photography, as well as our other wonderful community patrons. Our home base in Lubbock is Hollingsworth Hall Cultural Center at 4228 Boston Avenue. For more information on how to support our 501c3 organization, you can check out our website at www.reinvent-productions.com. To directly support our upcoming productions, you can become a Lore Drop sponsor. For just $10, you can sponsor an episode of this podcast. All donations will go towards support for our next production for this year's season. Funds will go towards paying production staff and our poster artists for their fantastic talent and time. We work to bring 5 new productions set within the world of Reinvent with every season, and your support goes a long way in making that happen. Our next production is Spotlight Volume 1, a Reinvent short play festival, which will feature 8 brand new short plays all written by local writers in our community. You can donate at givebutter.com/Lore Drop sponsor. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at reinvent.productions, as well as on Facebook and Twitch, where we stream gaming and a look behind the scenes on how we create our new works. Be sure to follow us to stay in the loop about upcoming productions, auditions, and more. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Lore Drop.